symbiotes didn't come here by accident. They were running.
So, what is the Life Foundation? Well, to begin with, it is an evil corporation, much like Umbrella from the Resident Evil universe, or Weyland Yutani from the Alien franchise. But unlike those two, which are the overarching villains of their universe, the Life Foundation is not that influential, and yet it does a lot of nasty stuff as far as Venom and his stories are concerned. Debuted in Amazing Spider-Man number 298, the corporation basically serves as one that's dedicated itself to finding ways to survive the worst catastrophes that might befall humanity. Of course, it aims to use human and alien technology to achieve this particular goal. Naturally, the Life Foundation has been there trying to navigate through catastrophe that had the potential of turning into world-ending events, one of which was the Cold War. In this video, we will explore everything there is to explore about the evil organization and the symbiotes it created.
But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Life Foundation in the comics. So, the Life Foundation anticipated that the end of the Cold War would lead to a nuclear apocalypse and the mutual destruction of modern civilization. Under the leadership of Carlton Drake, they constructed a large fallout shelter to provide comfortable living quarters for their wealthy clients. To protect this envisioned utopian society, they created 5 symbiotes: Agony, Fage, Riot, Lasher, and Scream, by forcibly spawning them from Venom. Yep, much like the Venom movie, it was the Life Foundation that first got its hand on Venom. Masquerading as a branch of the NSA, the Life Foundation hired Professor Toshiro Makashi to conduct biogenic research aimed at curing Carlton Drake's terminal cancer. They captured Spider-Man to accelerate their research efforts. Roland Treese, seeking to assassinate Drake and seize control of the Life Foundation, injected Drake with the results of Makashi's research. Instead of curing him, this caused Drake to mutate into a humanoid spider monster. In the ensuing chaos, the spoiler and the jury turned against the Life Foundation. They assisted Spider-Man in escaping, and Professor Makashi sacrificed himself to destroy the Life Foundation's facility. Roland Treese was apprehended by government forces after Mendel Strom announced that the Life Foundation had filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. The organization managed to recover due to significant events affecting other companies. The downfall of Roxxon, caused by the actions of the Hulk and Zenmu, and the attacks on Alchemax by Carnage's Hive, allowed the Life Foundation to regain its footing. They re-emerged as the leading authority on symbiote-related matters in a world shaken by 3 major attacks from malevolent symbiotes within a few months. The Life Foundation financed an operation to capture the Venom and Sleeper symbiote. This mission ended tragically with the assassination of Eddie Brock and the deaths of numerous soldiers at the hands of Eddie's son Dylan, who had bonded with the Venom symbiote. This incident caught the attention of New York Senator Arthur Crane, who had been overtaken by the Carnage symbiote and had killed his own father, Senator Peter Crane. Although Senator Crane harbored a dislike for Carlton Drake, he offered the Life Foundation the power to influence government policy on symbiotes in exchange for their cooperation. Ultimately, the Life Foundation was absorbed by Alchemax. All of its assets became the property of Alchemax, and the former Life Foundation personnel began working for the new company. Carlton Drake joined the board of directors at Alchemax, bringing Meridius along with him. This partnership led to the creation of a secret project within Alchemax, known as the K Program, which was so clandestine that even the CEO, Liz Allen, was unaware of it. The K Program was designed to develop weapons and chemicals aimed at neutralizing symbiote threats, while also serving the organization's own interests. When the Grand Garden Arena was overtaken by the King in Black, Eddie Brock, and his temporal delegates inhabiting symbiote body, Alchemax accelerated its anti-symbiote research. This urgency resulted in the creation of the K-44 compound. Black Widow and Agent Anti-Venom learned of this development and infiltrated the Alchemax Tower to investigate further. Their break-in inadvertently unleashed a horde of zombiotes, corpses, reanimated by symbiote matter, that began wreaking havoc across Manhattan. In the chaos, Meridius released the zombiote plague with the help of Alchemax's board of directors, and threw Liz Allen out of the Alchemax Tower's window, seizing control of the company. Surviving the fall, Allen assumed the identity of Misery and teamed up with Black Widow to stop the zombiote outbreak. They managed to lure as many zombiotes as possible back into the Alchemax Tower. There, Misery infused a fire sprinkler system with her anti-venom. Black Widow activated the system, which dispersed the anti-venom and freed both the living and the dead from the zombiote plague. With Meridius gone, Liz Allen regained control of Alchemax. She vowed to reform the company and use it for the betterment of the world. So, That was Life Foundation from the comics. Now that we have that covered, why don't we take a look at the various symbiotes that Life Foundation created? Agony is a purple symbiote forcibly created from the Venom symbiote by the Life Foundation, an organization that appears in the live-action movie Venom, alongside Riot, the main antagonist in the film. Agony is one of 5 symbiotes engineered to serve as enforcers for the Life Foundation. Throughout Marvel Comics history, Agony and her symbiote siblings have bonded with numerous hosts. They have occasionally merged to become a single entity, called Hybrid, with one notable instance involving Deadpool as their host. During Null's assault on Earth and Eddie Brock's family, Agony and the other symbiotes fell under his control. Most recently, Agony was part of Wilson Fisk's Thunderbolts team, but was defeated once again in Venom: The Last Dance. The final sequence features 2 symbiotes bonding, likely nodding to the Guardian symbiote's formation of Hybrid. Agony's abilities are similar to those of other symbiotes, but with unique enhancement. The US government provided her with an extra dose of strength. She possesses a special power, acid generation, which allows her to split corrosive substances. This ability is similar to the acid used to dissolve Venom in the xenophages in Area 51. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Agony did not immediately display these powers and seems to have an entirely different set of ability. Dr. Payne, portrayed by Juno Temple, is an original character loosely based on Marvel Comics' Dr. Thaddeus Payne, a doctor known for his dubious experiment. While Temple's Dr. Payne is not overtly villainous, she exhibits an obsessive affinity for symbiotes over her own kind. In the intense finale of Venom: The Last Dance, Dr. Payne rescues a symbiote amid the chaos. Before Rex Strickland detonates the facility, she willingly bonds with the symbiote to escape safely. Dr. Payne's brother is credited as Thaddeus, indicating that both characters are inspired by Dr. Thaddeus Payne from the comic. Fage made his debut alongside his symbiote siblings in Venom: Lethal Protector number 4 in 1993. He is generally portrayed with an orange hue, though in earlier issues he appeared more yellow. His first host was Karl Mock. Often, Fage and the other Life Foundation symbiotes have been combined into a collective, sharing different hosts. The Life Foundation, after witnessing the creation of Carnage, captured Eddie Brock and forcibly extracted a portion of his symbiote to create their own group. The initial 5 hosts, including Karl Mock, volunteered for this project. Initially, they battled Venom, but later sought his guidance to understand their symbiote partners in Venom: Separation Anxiety from 1994. Eventually, the Life Foundation symbiotes were captured for study, and their hosts, including Carl, were killed by Scream. In subsequent series, starting with Venom, Along Came a Spider from 1996, Fage and his 4 siblings merged with a single host named Scott Washington. This amalgamation was known as Hybrid. Scott was later killed by Eddie Brock, causing the 4 symbiotes to separate again. At that time, these symbiotes did not have official names. They were mainly identified by their colors and hosts, and they appeared in human form less frequently than more popular symbiotes like Carnage and Venom. Fage and his siblings were officially named in Carnage USA. In this series, Fage became a bioweapon and was assigned to Lieutenant Rico Axelson, a sniper on a special team dedicated to eliminating Carnage. In symbiote form, Fage has abilities similar to Carnage, but is less infamous and murderous. He enhances his host's sensory awareness, making him an excellent partner for a sniper. Fage also possesses a healing factor, increased strength, and speed like other symbiotes, and the ability to camouflage. Like Carnage, he can transform his body into sharp weapons. Most recently, Fage returned in the July 2021 event Extreme Carnage. In his own tie-in issue, Extreme Carnage, Fage number 1, he assists Carnage in hunting down their estranged sibling, Scream.
Drake, stop!
Right. Until the early 1990s, Venom was mainly a villain in the Spider-Man comic. Marvel saw greater potential in the character and began transforming Eddie Brock into an anti-hero, giving him his own comic book series. This shift led to David McKelney's renowned Venom: Lethal Protector storyline, where Eddie attempts to start a new life in San Francisco. Unfortunately for Eddie, he soon crosses paths with the Life Foundation. In the comics, this organization believes that a global catastrophe is imminent. Carlton Drake, a businessman rather than a scientist, devises a plan to build a survival bunker and sell spots to the rich and famous. When Drake learns of Venom's presence in San Francisco, he sees an opportunity to create ultimate super soldier to defend the bunker during an apocalypse. He captures Venom and extracts symbiotic seeds to produce new symbiotes for his own purposes. One of these new symbiotes is Riot, although he was not initially given a name. In the Lethal Protector run, Riot is simply one of Drake's mercenaries bonded with a brutal symbiote. The name Riot was later assigned through a line of action figure, and despite little resemblance between the toy and the comic character, the name stuck. Riot's host is killed at the end of the Lethal Protector miniseries. but the symbiote survived and has bonded with various hosts over the years. The most recent host is Petty Officer Howard Ogden, who works for the U.S. military and battles against Carnage. Scream first appeared in 1993 in Venom, Lethal Protector number 4, alongside her symbiote sibling. She was created when Eddie Brock's symbiote was forcibly separated from him by the Life Foundation. Like other symbiotes, Scream has enhanced ability, but she uniquely uses her hair as a weapon or tendril. Throughout her history, she is bonded with 3 hosts, each bringing a different narrative to her character. Donna Diego was Scream's initial host. As a member of a special forces team for the Life Foundation, she willingly underwent symbiote bonding. Unbeknownst to her superior, Donna was schizophrenic and had been hearing voices long before merging with Scream. In Venom, Separation Anxiety, it is revealed that she became a murderer. Believing symbiotes to be evil, she killed her fellow symbiote hosts using a sonic knife and attempted to frame Venom for the crime. Eventually, Eddie Brock killed Donna in Venom number 15, but the Scream symbiote survived. The next host was Patricia Robertson in Absolute Carnage, Scream. Patricia had previously bonded with Mania, a clone of Venom. During Carnage's campaign to prepare for Null's arrival, the god of the symbiotes, Carnage sought to eliminate all symbiote hosts, targeting Andy Benton, another former host of Mania. Despite Carnage's control over other symbiotes, Scream resisted his influence to protect Andy. By the series' end, Patricia was killed by Carnage, and Scream bonded with Andy, saving her life. This union marked a turning point, setting Scream on a more heroic path. Andy, connected to Agent Venom, carried the Hell Mark from her time with Mania, enabling her to summon Hellfire and command Demon. Together, she and Scream agreed to use their powers against Villain. In Scream Curse of Carnage, they battled foes like Big Mother, leading up to the events of King in Black. Recently, Andy and Scream have faced off against formidable adversaries, including Carnage and Null's minions, like Demogoblin. The series also revealed that Scream can adapt her form. She can function underwater, generate wings for flight, and even transform into a spider-like creature to rescue others. Readers can follow their ongoing adventures in the Extreme Carnage event, particularly in Extreme Carnage Scream number 1. Lasher. Lasher is a symbiote character in Marvel Comics, associated with the Life Foundation alongside Fage, Agony, Scream, and Riot. The Life Foundation aimed to develop advanced security measures and captured Eddie Brock, forcing his symbiote to produce offspring. These new symbiotes were bonded to volunteer hosts connected to the organization. Like his sibling, Lasher possesses superhuman strength, stamina, a healing factor, and the ability to camouflage. He is distinguished by his green coloration and the tendrils he extends from his back. Lasher debuted in Venom Lethal Protector number 4 in 1993, with Ramon Hernandez as his first host, although they appeared to perish in their initial storyline. Both returned in Venom, Separation Anxiety, where Ramon was killed by Scream. Later, in Venom, along came a spider. Lasher and his siblings merged with a new host, Scott Washington, forming the entity known as Hybrid. Scott was eventually killed by Venom, causing the symbiotes to separate once more. In Carnage USA, the Life Foundation symbiotes reemerged with enhanced ability. Lasher demonstrated the capacity to bond with animal and non-sentient weaponry. He merged with a symbiotically enhanced German Shepherd, leashed to Chief Petty Officer Marcus Sims of the Mercury team. Together, they were deployed to combat Carnage after he possessed the population of Doverton, Colorado. In Deadpool vs. Carnage, Deadpool temporarily bonded with the 4 symbiotes, becoming a version of Hybrid. After their separation, the symbiotes bonded again with the German Shepherd, which Deadpool released. The dog wandered to a troubled family in Colorado, where the symbiotes bonded with family members in Absolute Carnage, Separation Anxiety number 1. During the King in Black event, Lasher and his siblings became part of Null's symbiote army. Lasher confronted his sister Scream, but was ultimately defeated. He is set to return in Extreme Carnage, Lasher number 1, marking his first independent comic appearance and introducing the birth of a new symbiote. So yeah, that was Life Foundation and its 5 deadly symbiotes. But why don't we see a lot of these symbiotes? Why did Venom get so famous and not his Spawn? Well, in the 1990s, Venom became extremely popular and transitioned from a villain to the heroic Lethal Protector. To balance this chain, Marvel introduced Carnage as a more sinister counterpart and offered fans both heroic and villainous symbiotes. However, both characters became overused, appearing frequently in comics and even in Spider-Man, the animated series, soon after their creation. This led to reader fatigue regarding symbiotes by the time the Life Foundation introduced 5 new ones. The new symbiotes from the Life Foundation felt uninspired appearing as mere color variations of Venom and Carnage, without significant depth or character development. Their hosts were mercenary, with little backstory, which made them seem like an attempt to create new characters without substance. Even Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy, the original hosts of Venom and Carnage, didn't receive their most compelling stories until years later. The 2018 Venom movie improved on this by giving Riot a host with personality, Carlton Drake, but many fans still didn't recognize the symbiote, highlighting the obscurity of the Life Foundation 5. Towards the end of the 90s, Venom and Carnage's popularity declined. Eddie Brock separated from the symbiote, and characters like Matt Gargan and Flash Thompson took on the Venom identity, altering its portrayal. In the 2010, Eddie Brock reunited with Venom, solidifying his role as a hero and revitalizing the series. Despite this resurgence, the Life Foundation symbiotes remained in the background, with minimal appearances. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.